Awfully quiet today.
We ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like anyone's into this.
Oh no, I'm here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good in the neighborhood.
Awfully quiet today.
I'm out here.
I'm sweating.
You always sweating.
It's hot.
You do realize that this is not in person. We don't be knowing. You could, for all we know, you could smell like roses. You just be telling on yourself. I stank.
I just came from the gym.
I just came from the gym. I've been eating onions. Like, come on, Kelly.
Information.
The man out there who got half of you don't have to know that until he meets you in person. How you gonna have your Instagram private, but you still giving up all the information? That's
right. You're right.
That's a little backwards. All right.
You're right. Let me be quiet.
No, you don't have to be quiet. You can say the magic words this week. Go for it.
Boom shakalaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Every time I see that intro, I miss the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Good times. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Worst Ones podcast. My name is Rudy Wilson. I am a preacher's kid. Janessa Rowland is as well. So is Kellie Lee. And of course, Terry Wayne, the worst one himself. How's everybody doing? Terry, let's start with you.
I'm good. I smoked a brisket this weekend and it turned out amazing.
Like on a grill, or you found a way to put it in some weed?
I haven't thought about that, but I'm sure you could shred it up.
That would be awesome.
No, I smoked it on I live in a condominium, so you can't have gas and you can't have charcoal. They didn't say anything about electric smokers, so
right.
I just went off with it. Yeah.
How did it work? Is it worked out all right?
Oh, it was amazing.
Gotcha. There you go. That's what's up, man.
That is what's up.
Are you still driving up for your guest spot in November?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, Kelly. I mean, you.
I'm having a day off. Y'all have noticed. I'm having a day.
You eating like a grown ass man. She like.
I'm having a day. A day.
Calories out, calories right back in.
I got a smoothie.
I know. That's like I say Chick-fil-A on the side.
Wait, Smoothie King is our sponsor of the day.
Smoothie King
is our sponsor of the day. Okay. And Skinny Pop.
I used to work at Smoothie King. I just let you know it's not that healthy.
What they told me, so for a sponsor, the Gladiator was healthy because it's just the protein.
It's one of the healthier options, but like that's almost like saying like if I sold fried chicken and and like just say grilled chicken. It doesn't necessarily make you just say a vegan if you ate the grilled chicken. Like you're still eating chicken, if that makes sense. You're still in the same categories.
I think that analogy came off its wheels before it even started.
I was like, but grilled chicken is the better option.
No, I'm saying,
but he's saying it doesn't make you
the better option, but it's not necessarily like healthy. Is what?
There's tons of sugar and calories in smoothies.
I'm saying, well, for one, they're not. Like majority of the fruit that they're using it's not like like the only thing that's really fresh is probably the bananas. That's the only thing that really like you're like actually peeling banana. You know what I'm saying? But everything else,
are you shitting on our sponsor?
They don't sponsor us. the strawberries come in a tub. The blueberries come in a frozen bag. Like all that stuff come in some type of package, and then some of the other fruits, like the apple and all that, that's just juice. That's not even.
Yeah. When you say,
if we're talking real, then if we're telling stories, where is really healthy?
Where is that?
Taco Bell.
Boston Market. I used to work there.
You said
They-
it is?
They actually make most of their stuff in the back.
I used to really enjoy Boston Market.
Yeah.
And then I was traumatized one day, back in like I was in high school or college at my parents' house. I may have been in high school, and we used to eat Boston Market all the time. And I came home from school thinking that they had saved me some Boston Market in the oven. So I eat it, and it tastes a little funky. And then my mom tells me that it was like a week old.
Damn.
It was what?
It was like
A week old.
Oh,
Damn.
I would be traumatized.
wow.
Damn. Why
I don't really
was
see how
something
that's
sitting in the
possible.
oven?
Why
for
was
a
it
week?
still in the oven? Ooh,
Like-
That seems more like user error, you know?
That is wild.
I think that's just on you. I don't think you can blame the Boston Market Corporation for that.
Dude, I was traumatized.
That is wild.
Oh my God.
How do y'all not open y'all oven for a whole week? Like nobody.
That's a good question. I didn't. think
Nobody
about that.
ever like just nothing. Nobody. My goodness.
That sent me. Ooh, that just sent me.
So,
Well,
but Boston Market was really good.
gotcha. Okay.
And it's actually good. It's actual real food. It's crazy. When I started there, I couldn't believe it. I was like, so you guys make this stuff back here? Yeah.
You know who doesn't? I think I mentioned this before. You know, Publix doesn't make their cakes at the store.
They don't?
Really?
I didn't know that.
That's It fucked me up. I'm telling you. I was at Publix and I was surfing, you know, like looking through the desserts or whatever, and some little young white chick in the back. She was like, "Hey, you need some help with something?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm just looking." She was like, "Yeah, man, they have so many good options." And I heard her say "they," and I'm like, "They?" Like, yeah. I'm like, "Who is they?" She was like, "Publix." And I'm like,
That's
what, I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, don't y'all make these in the back?" She was like, "God, no." She was like, they have some like secret recipe from like way back in the day, and like they make it and they send it to us, and then we, you know, we put it out. And I was
it's
like,
delicious though.
and then as I start like thinking over the years, I'm like, I've never smelled of like cakes baking. You know what I'm saying? Like you've never, you know, now that you think about it, like you've never seen it. You just kind of just assume, especially because it's right next to the deli where they are cooking chicken and stuff like that. So but you never really think they're actually not baking anything back there. Like the most they'll do, they just know how to write the name, you know, what I'm saying? Like whatever, like that. Yeah, but they not
bake.
Right.
They write your name on the end, thinking that got me thinking they baked the whole cake.
We thinking Publix is finding like the top bakers all over the world, and they just hire.
They do make their own cookies and bread, and I mean, come on.
It's all sent there, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
No, the cookies are not. I've seen them make the cookies,
bro. The girl told me, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
You're telling me not to believe my own eyes.
I'm telling you to believe the person who works there. Like she told me that they don't make any of that stuff there. It's all sent to them.
My brother-in-law is a manager there, and no, they get their cakes made elsewhere. Like all those little dessert things you see out in the aisles.
All right, Terry, well, you bring me proof. You either bring your brother-in-law, whoever, or Google it. You pull it up. But I'm trying to tell you, this chick told me that they don't make any of that stuff.
They don't make.
That's why it all comes cold. That's why a lot of that stuff you can find.
What do you think they're doing back there?
Huh?
Who do you think works in the bakery?
Regular motherfuckers. That's why they
anybody.
That's
why they have anybody working there.
Because like when they put out the individual slices and stuff, like they take the big cakes, they'll cut that up, individualize them, pack,
yes,
you know, and put them out.
Cakes. I know they don't make their cakes, but
I'm saying
bread and cookies.
But I'm saying all of that stuff has to be put out and managed. But those people aren't bakers. They're not people who like went to some type of culinary school and learned how to bake. Like
no, they definitely didn't. They're just going by they got recipes and things.
Not even. That's what I'm telling you.
They do for bread.
Okay.
The bread and the cookies are real.
The bread and the cookies. They need a recipe for bread and cookies. I got you. Chocolate chip cookies. They need a recipe for them. You think those motherfuckers?
Doesn't everyone?
No, you just grab the Pillsbury, you take the little squares, you put them in the oven.
No,
Take them out.
When you
slap the pan down so it gets flat.
with flour and baking soda and baking powder and
that's what I'm trying to tell
sugar.
you. Go to Publix right now and see if any of them covered in flour or baking soda. They're not. They're clean because all they're doing is dealing with already cooked food, Terry.
No,
they're not real. You're letting them fool you, and I'm taking you behind the veil, okay?
Yeah, sure.
It is not. It's not really an Oz, okay? It's just a little old crippled man. He's not real. All right, go ahead, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing okay now. I needed that laugh. I needed you three. I had some personal things I had to work through today. Still working through them, but you guys have brightened my day. Had some good laughs already.
Amen.
Birthday is Saturday.
Amen. What's today? Okay, so a couple more. Okay, got
What are you gonna be like 41?
No, Terry, that's what your girlfriend's gonna be.
What's wrong with being 40?
They jumping them. They jumping.
Right.
I cannot hear Janessa. I haven't heard one word out of Janessa since.
That's I can hear her.
So me too.
Get some headphones, Terry. What's wrong with you?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys fine.
Yeah, I can hear Janessa fine,
but you can't hear me, Terry.
Nothing.
As he responds, right? I can't hear shit.
Well, I already saw.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I saw her move her mouth. I just didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, Terry, because we can hear it fine. Yeah, maybe you know what they do in school. You maybe have to leave and come back. That's what they tell you in the virtual world. We have virtual meetings and it's not working. Just leave and come.
Look, did she just? What the hell just?
That's what you.
She just showed her whole setup. Janessa, what the hell? Did you fall? What just happened?
We just got backstage passes.
I just see your camera just flipped upside down. I didn't know whether to be concerned or laugh. Like this is
a lot. We went to like super quiet to like.
I've been trying to figure out, did Janessa hurt herself? We came from seeing her face, and all of a sudden, it just was everything.
Oh boy. You all right, Janessa?
I dropped my laptop. Yeah, I just dropped my laptop.
Okay.
This is my new laptop that I'm doing. It's a little lightweight, so when I move, it moves.
You were right, Kelly. Now I can hear.
See, that's the trick they teach us in the virtual world. Take a go back out.
That is.
But I'll be 34. So back to
me.
I'll be.
It's my birthday week.
It's all about me. I'll be 34. Yeah, looking forward to a good weekend. Yeah, don't have any real plans. This was one of my first years that I haven't planned out anything. I guess I still got a couple of days, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Dope. Miss Rowland.
Hey y'all.
Okay.
Life's been struggles the past couple of weeks, but I think I'm on the other side. So
okay.
Just school. It took me like 2 weeks to write a paper that should have taken me 1 week. And I mean, it was just like I had to really hype myself up to finish it. So but now we're through. It's I got a little break, so I'm trying to just gather myself right now. And the semester's almost over, so that's a plus too.
Oh, nice. Already?
When it's over, like in December almost, or like sooner than that?
October. So they do more. I forgot what they call them. It's like 5 semesters in a year. It's like an accelerated.
So y'all end in October and come back January. Or y'all come back.
No, so it's going to end in October, and then I have like a week break, and then I'll go into another semester.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's how I was in my film school. Same thing. Yeah. You just go year round. I got you. Okay.
We're trying to get done. Okay.
No, for sure. No, fair. That's the best way. It's the best way. No doubt. Gotcha. Sure. All right, cool. Well, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm actually in South Florida right now. Just got here last night. I drove down in time for a show that was in Hollywood, Florida, so that I wouldn't have to. For those of y'all don't know, Hollywood is a little north of Miami, so I didn't want to have to like drive down early in the day, come back up, and then go back down to where I'm staying. So I just came from Jacksonville to Hollywood, did the show to Miami.
How far is Hollywood from Miami?
I mean, where I was going, not that far, because I was in just say northern Miami, so in Miami Gardens
Beach.
Sure. So
I've been there.
I got you. But the yeah, so where I was going is probably maybe like 20 minutes because I was yeah, Hollywood is in Broward County, Miami-Dade Dade County, but Hollywood is still closer to Miami as opposed to as you go further north. So yeah, it wasn't that far of a ride for me, but yeah, I got one more show tomorrow in West Palm Beach, and then I'm leaving. I'm headed back to Jacksonville. And I do want to say to all the listeners, I do apologize for the last two episodes having to come out late because my computer crashed. So I found this. I'm on the new one now, so I'm gonna just put those out and
Were you able to recover those?
Well, I never lost them because StreamYard has them. Like it's
perfect.
Yeah. So, but
did you get your data back from your computer?
I got a lot of save files because a lot of my stuff was saved in iCloud. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's just more or less like the setup of my computer and different little, I don't know, maybe savings or cookies or whatever may have been on that one. I don't know what it's called, but either way, it's not that big of a deal. But I got the footage, so those will be dropped, and then we'll be right back on track. So, all right, let's get into it. Terry, I hope I worded this correctly, but either way, take it away.
Just mixed religion couples, marriages, things like that. I've known a few of them. I've been in one. I was raised Pentecostal, and then my family kind of conformed to evangelical, but I married a Catholic woman. And I've known like Catholics and Jewish people that get together. Like, what are your thoughts on how that is? Because I can give some stories on how it feels to walk into a new place. A new kind of church, new kind of religion. It can be a little shaky, and then it can cause problems in your relationship. And I just thought it'd be a good discussion point.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine that could be difficult. It's definitely, I know for me, not my preference. As I date, and potentially get married. Get married.
Name it and claim it.
I would love for us, because I've seen people, or I've known people who've had similar religious backgrounds that are still stuck in their own church or congregation. Like I want to be with Pastor Rowland, and I want to be with Pastor Lee, and so
right. That's true.
I've seen the division there in terms of where you want to
denomination.
Right. And in terms of where you want to worship on Sundays. I think the ideal for me, so this isn't thoughts in general, but the ideal for me is that I would love to go to service, go to worship as a family on Sundays, on Wednesdays, to participate in ministries together, to both be a part of the same church. So for me, I wouldn't prefer, now we'll see what happens in real life, but I wouldn't prefer. I would actually be interested in hearing, kind of what it looks like, because I can imagine that's difficult. like I said, that's something that I would prefer not to have to deal with in my relationships. That's one of the things that I hope we're on one accord about.
Kellie, can I ask you one quick question? Or it may not be quick as far as answering it, but if you had to choose, I guess just say between like marrying somebody who just say like was in a different religion or denomination or whatever, or I just say religion because I don't want it. I want it to be separate from just say the Christian God. So
okay,
you're Christian, he's Muslim or whatever else, or a guy who like you're Christian and he's atheist. Like if you had to choose one, like is it more valuable to you that just say he believes in something and y'all just kind of just agree to disagree on that, as opposed to somebody who is just like, nah, ain't no God.
That's an interesting question. Actually, I've never thought about that.
That is a good question.
Yeah, on impulse. Oh.
It's no for me, dog.
Well, that's so in general, no. But to answer your question on which I would prefer, I mean, neither.
Right.
Absolutely neither. Like I said, I want somebody same denomination, same church home, same,
right. But that's what I'm saying. And I feel like we all come. Well, I think at least most of us come into this situation with that preference. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think anybody, whether it's religion or anything, you want the compatibility to be there, like in some type of agreement. Like I don't want to have to butt heads with you about anything. Let's just agree almost on everything. But this is something that can be a split. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm just saying, like, if you had to choose, and this for anybody. I mean, whoever wants to answer, really. Like, is it? Or Janessa, I guess you already answered. But the well, you just said yes or no. But yeah, but what about like? Janessa, what about
in this? If you're stuck, so thinking outside of your preferences, and this is what outside of your preferences, we know what we would prefer. Right. But just between these two options, if you had to choose one,
it's neither.
It's a hypothetical question game.
I'm very disappointed in the both of you
because it's so hard. Because
they used to say the same thing about interracial couples.
Well,
but they, I mean, I guess, but see, the major just to, and that is a good point, Terry. But just to kind of show the difference, that's still more of a physical thing more than like a belief system. And I think that's where people's mind changes, because like the color of your skin has nothing to do with like what you believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what you believe may necessarily dictate how we run our household, how we raise our kids, decisions we make, you know what I'm saying, and all that type of stuff. So it is a kind of a finer line, you know, and I think in decision making, I think
that's a hard one. I don't know. I tried to play along. I really tried to play along and give you an answer, because that's a good one. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't think what you believe should interfere with how you feel about another human being. You know, if you love somebody, you love them, you know.
But see, I think if Kellie found out, and Kellie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to, put a false narrative on you, but I feel like if you found out before you ever fell in love with this person, like as you get to know them, like that they just say were atheists or whatever, I think you would pull out before even given a chance of a love even being fallen in.
That would be a deal breaker. Right. Like you said, on those when you're in dating relationships and you have to list, those absolute deal breakers. That man, I may really, really like you, but then you hit me with this. I can't. I would have to back out. Someone said to me the other day, you choose to love, like you don't fall in love, and so I don't know if I could make that choice. And you can agree or disagree. I'm not gonna say I agree or disagree, but with that, I wouldn't choose that, because it would be deeper than love. So even if I love them, My family is got to be deeper than the love. What we teach and show my children from day to day, how we act in our household from day to day is bigger than just I love you. That is a huge piece of it. And as I said, and that's something that's important to me. That would be even if we were I fell in love or I chose to love. As far as building a family, building a life, I couldn't do it.
So one more question, Kellie, and then Janessa, you can give your thoughts about just the whole scenario as a whole. Let's say you and a church boy, y'all get married. You know what I'm saying? And when I say church boy, he can be to whatever degree you want to be. He can be in the ministry. He can just be the faithful church goer. You know, he participated in the men's ministry breakfast, whatever. Okay, so at some point, like, so y'all married, y'all in y'all relationship, or whatever. Let's say 5 years, whatever it is, 10 years, whatever. And at something happens in his life that makes him shift to something else, whether it's he don't believe in God no more, whether it's he been talking to the brothers in the Nation of Islam, they done
Chris asked me the same question,
but like so like but he not on what y'all how you knew him, how he been this whole time, like something. So like how do you, and once again, you're not in this situation, so right, I'm not expecting you to give the perfect answer, but how would you feel? Just talk me through, I guess, that.
I don't know. And Janessa seems like she had some time to process. She's had this before.
Feel free if you need to.
If you want to jump in first, but I think I don't want to say that it would be at that point an immediate divorce. Like, oh no, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to say that. Know what? I said it's not
immediate divorce.
It won't be
immediate part of the problem.
It won't be grounds for divorce, but it'll definitely we'll definitely have to work through to me the most important part is family. So what this looks like, how we work through this, for our family. At the end of the day, that's a grown man. Like, I can't control who or what he believes. I can't control, that he has, changed his thoughts, his belief systems, in the middle of our marriage. But my most important piece would be, we got to figure out what this looks like for our family. Would be kind of where I stand. And what would be important for me is us being able to maybe agree to disagree or whatever to do what's best for our family. Is my immediate, my first reaction, my first response. But it wouldn't be grounds for immediate divorce.
Right. So you're saying it's better for kids to live in a divorced home than a mixed religious home?
I didn't say that at all. I said that.
What were you listening to? What happened? Did you check out?
Well, she said for the
you not with Kellie
now? When people say family, I immediately think kids. So
right. So our family, the two adults and our kids. Right. So what would work best for our family in terms of how we will raise our family with us now, because this wasn't something in the beginning that we had to work through. So we were on one page at one point, and now we're not on the same page, but I need us to get back on the same page on how we're going to continue to raise our family, what we're going to continue to teach and instill in our kids. So if this is what you want to do, okay, but this is what we've started with our children. And so we have to discuss how we're going to continue to raise our children and what this looks like in our home, would be what's most important for me. Again,
right. But if you had ended up ending the marriage and you got divorced, they're still being raised by both parents the way they want to. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying, but I'm not divorced. Like I said, I'm not looking at divorce first. I'm looking at, let's do this together. Because unlike I know from the beginning we're in the dating stage, and I find out that, or I know that we have two different religions. That's different. At this point in the marriage, we've made a commitment to each other. And so just because your beliefs and your thoughts have changed on this one thing, I don't think that then destroys the entire relationship and marriage, but it does allow for a lot of adjustment and shifting in how this looks. And hopefully, because we're married, we can figure out how do we work together to make this work, because there's a lot of things that we probably differ on. So in those spaces that we've made these other things work for our family, though we sit on opposite ends of whatever the thing is, I would want to do the same thing here. But we will both have to be intentional, open participants in what that looks like. But most important for me would be family. But I would want to I would want to stay with my man as long as he ain't extreme and crazy and on some other stuff. Let's work through it and figure out how to
storming the Capitol building.
But then that still brings up, just say, some type of, I ain't gonna say unfairness, but some type of pushback possibly, because what if he don't want you to be extreme with Christianity? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he don't want you to do too much? You know what I'm saying? As far as what he feels, like how.
Well, when kids are little, just to respond to her point. First of all, I don't think you choose who you fall in love with. If that's true, I made some shitty choices because I would change a few of them for sure. But I think you can choose who you be with, but you can't choose who you love.
And like I said, and to that point, like I said, if I fell in love with a guy with a different religion than mine, I probably wouldn't be with him. I probably wouldn't marry him.
Right. If you knew that from the jump.
Right. If I knew that from the beginning. Right. There's a lot of people that I said I love them, that I really love them or not. Who knows? But thank God.
But on those lonely nights, you're still going to be thinking like, oh, I miss Derek or whoever.
And then you wake up in the morning and be like, I know why we're not together anymore. But though I may have loved them or thought I loved them or said I loved them, we never got married. We weren't going to be together because it was some things that didn't work, which would be the same thing here. But if we made that choice, I would love, especially at this point. Like I didn't get married early in my 20s. Like I'm in my 30s, my mid 30s now. I hope that we make a real intentional decision about the commitment that we're going to make. And I don't want just a change in belief, thoughts halfway through to kind of, I hope it doesn't automatically just, mess up the entire relationship. I hope that we're both willing to put in the work, because I hope that he's aware enough to know that this is going to disrupt the family. So that he is already prepared.
So can we just dumb that down to regular language, which is, he should know better? Is that what you're doing? Are you finger wagging now?
He should at least know that this is going to disrupt the family. Hey, you're a grown man. Do what you need to do for you. But know that it's not just about you anymore. You had a whole family, and this is going to disrupt it. So you need to come with some solutions.
I have I didn't even think about this story until just now when you were talking. But a friend of mine was an atheist. He's actually my business partner. He was an atheist, and he fell in love with this Jewish girl. And she said, oh, well, my family's really, observing in the Jewish faith and this and that. So he converted to Judaism just to marry her. But now he actually kind of takes it a little bit seriously, What
do you mean? Oh, because like he actually like.
Well, yeah. No, like he converted just to marry her. And I remember asking him, like, you're becoming Jewish? And he goes, yeah, I don't care. He's like, I don't believe any of this stuff anyway, so why does it matter? But then he actually started taking it seriously, and actually got into it. So maybe that's a way to almost minister, is, through who you date.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a fair point.
He's raising his kids to be Jewish. His son's been had his bar mitzvah, and his daughter her bat mitzvah, and he's raising them that way.
Gotcha. Janessa, what are your thoughts on this whole subject matter?
Well, I will say before Kellie gave her her take, I was 100% on the very next day, immediately filing for was it irreconcilable differences? Irreconcilable differences. Immediately.
Wow.
The only way I feel like Kellie's plan works for me is depending on what the switch in beliefs are. Do you still believe that Jesus died on the cross and for your sins and rose like that? Now, if it's something like far from like just fundamentally two different things, it's not gonna work. And even though divorce is hard, I feel like living my life as much as possible in alignment with the Bible is important. Now, I understand divorce is not something that God
acknowledges,
likes. Well, he does. It says there's a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
But
a crisis of faith is not one of them.
But I would say, like, if okay, so you know how we in the Christian faith, believe that the husband is the leader and the wife is submissive and all these things.
It's a great deal for us.
But if that husband, if his perception of his role or responsibilities and just certain views on life are different, now I have to be submissive to that. And what I'm having to be submissive to calls me to be out of the will of God, like that I can't have that conflict. So I need to separate myself from you. And yes, it will be hard on the kids. And what I need to do as a mom is, instill in my kids, look, there's different religions, different views, whatever. This is what mom believes. And this is why mom believes it. And your dad might believe this, he might tell you about things. And at the end of the day, we all make that final decision of what you choose to believe. We're influenced by family, our surroundings, our environments, but at the end of the day, we're the ones who make that choice. And so at that point, you just got to pray that your kids make the right choice, that if that's what it is. But staying in a situation where the religions are clashing and it's causing me on a daily basis to like just go against God's will, it's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Well, I don't think you're necessarily going against God's will just because you're with somebody who believes something different.
No. I'm saying, like, if the decisions they're making as a husband causes me to commit or do things that are out of God's will because of what he now believes. And because he's the husband and the leader of the family, we're having to do what he decides he wants to do. That's not gonna work.
But nobody can make you do anything,
Right, but that's why she was saying, like, based off of, like, her trying to just say abide by the Christian beliefs, which in the Christian faith, it is about the woman submitting to the husband. So she's saying that's why it would matter if he did.
Okay, so you're basically saying he's like, no, you're an atheist now, and
right.
She's saying like, right, if I say I'm not and I follow God, then I'm disobeying my husband. Is that what?
I wouldn't say it like that to a certain extent.
Yeah, I knew that would get you. Nobody likes that word.
No, I'm just saying, like, okay, say my husband wants to commit crimes or something like that, and because I'm his wife, I'm supposed to what is it? What's the thing? Dang, we need a lawyer. What's the
Oh,
thing?
a wife can't be asked to testify against her husband.
Right. You can't. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't want to commit these crimes. Like I would never commit these crimes. You know what I'm saying? And these are heinous crimes. Like I would never do that. But I would also at the same time.
If he's committing heinous crimes, I don't think the separation of religions is the problem.
Well, I'm like, but what if he's doing it in the name of whatever,
like a cult or something like that?
Yeah, like in the name of this cult, I have to do this, and I'm just like, no, I'm not down with no cult. I'm not down with this. But now I'm tied up in it, and you know, he's stuff like that.
Well, I don't blame you for leaving that relationship for a number of reasons, and it's fictitious. But
and that was something else I was gonna say. I would say also I could be wrong, but I do feel like if there was something that triggered that deep of a fundamental change in a person, I feel like they might have had some other issues in addition to that. I just don't think you can just wake up one day and be like, you know what, I was a Christian, but now I'm going to be Hindu or something.
As far as religion, I mean, as far as kids go with religion, I think the more options, the better. You know, show them what's out there. It's the same thing with those parents that try to shelter their kids all their lives. And then they go out in the world and they're not prepared. And they always end up, you know, hooked on drugs or screwing up their life in some way because they haven't been prepared. And I think a spiritual journey is just as important. I mean, the first time I ever saw a Quran, my dad gave it to me because I was asking him about different religions, and he gave me like 3 different books. He gave me a Torah, a Quran, and a Xing, I think it's the Asian religion. And he's like, here, go learn. You know, he's like, go learn. His idea, if your belief can't hold up to scrutiny, it's not much of a belief. That's the way he thinks about it. He's like, go ahead and doubt. You're supposed to doubt. You know, God gave you that brain, not for you to sit on it. And he's like, doubt all you want. And if you keep coming back and you keep having an open mind and an open heart, eventually you'll find each other. Because he really believes it's the right way.
So Terry, you as a man, let's say you fall in love with and marry a wholesome Christian woman. And I'm not saying, when I say that, it doesn't mean that she has to be perfect, but I'm saying in the sense of,
I know what you're saying. I've been in that relationship.
She definitely, she wants you to come to church with her. Like she wants y'all to pray together. She wants you to do all these things that you've made clear that you don't give too many fucks about. A little bit of fucks, but not too many. So how you because Janessa kind of expressed just views of how a woman has to deal with whatever, but just you as a man, but being put in that position where she wants you to, especially because she feels like, man, your dad's a preacher, whatever, you should already be, whatever, but you already still have your reserves or whatever. So go ahead.
I've actually had this exact scenario that you're talking about. I was 23. She was 32. We ended up dating for about 3 years. Her and her 2 daughters, she went to church every Sunday. She had a Bible study. She was very much into that. And yet she was okay in living in sin, but I didn't get that part. But, she would say, I want you to come to church with us. And every once in a while I would. But I said, mainly, I'm like, look, I only get, at that point in time, I was working a lot and I only got 1 day off and it was Sunday. And I was like, come on, man, let me sleep in 1 day. But no, I definitely tried. And I think that's the same with any relationship. It necessarily doesn't have to be with religion. But like if you meet a girl and she's in AA and you're a drinker, like it's probably not going to work out, But I definitely tried. We did daily devotionals. I was fine with that in the morning with the kids, and that was fine. I'm never been closed-minded about anything. At least I try not to be.
Right.
because I mean that's how we learn. Listen to other people, listen to them talk, listen to what they have to say, and maybe even if they don't change you or convert you, or maybe just something in there is a pearl of wisdom that maybe you can interpret in a different way and then change your own life because of it. So no, I don't think it's an issue. I think it's actually kind of a blessing. I've known some really, really successful people, and they come from wildly different families, where one is like a practicing Catholic and the other one is like a non-observant Jewish woman. That was one. And, like, I think the more options, the better, especially when it comes to kids. The more they can learn, the better.
So let's say you fall in love with and marry a woman who is a pastor, and you are now a pastor's husband. Go.
Well, I don't think that would happen.
It's not about what you think would happen. It's about the question. Okay, that you are in this scenario. You are now married to a pastor. Go.
What do I do?
I'm just saying. I mean, what's your thoughts on that whole situation? Because I feel like you would be expected, to carry yourself a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to be a worse one anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that's out the window.
Well, you can take
the holiest one.
No, you can take that and put it in the pile with all the other expectations everybody tries to have for you. I would be exactly who I am now. And if anybody want to talk to me about it, that's fine too. I would be, if I'm with somebody, I'm going to try and be as supportive as possible. Even if I don't believe in what they're doing, I'm still going to try and be supportive, because if you're in a relationship and you love somebody, that's what you're supposed to do. Try to be supportive and then try to nudge them in whatever direction you want. But you catch more flies with honey in this kind of situation. So you're like, oh, what would the pressures be like and this and that, and you have to be this person. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. If I wanted to be married to this fictitious woman you're talking about, which I probably wouldn't in reality, but if I was, then I'm in it. I'm committed to a relationship.
Why wouldn't you in reality?
Oh man, I need a freak. That's
what makes her not a freak just because she's a pastor.
I guess nothing. But now that you say it, I guess it's just not what I would imagine. And plus, the church, most churches now are kind of skewed in a way that I don't like. They're very political. Every time I've gone to a church in the last 5 years, it's gotten so weird for me. Right. Because when I went to church as a kid and growing up for the first 20 years of my life, it was all about God and this relationship and making your life better. And now it's become like a movement, and they're trying to push political and social sway. Like I've literally heard pastors talk about politics at the pulpit. Like that's crazy to me. Right. That's crazy to me. When you mix politics and religion, you poison them both. And it's just part of the lexicon now. This is what's happened. We've divided the country so much that it's infiltrated all parts of our lives.
Well, I feel that.
Kellie's back.
Hey.
For me to stop talking.
I've been listening backstage.
Oh, have you?
I have.
I have.
I had to make a birthday run. Sorry.
A birthday run?
Whoa. Okay.
It's not your birthday yet.
First of all,
a whole month is her birthday, Terry.
A whole month?
A whole month, Terry.
When I said birthday week earlier, I heard it in my head like, oh, it's my birthday week. But actually, you know what? That's kind of fair. Like there's 52 weeks in a year. Why not have one for yourself?
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or
first of all, a birthday run.
No.
A birthday run sounds really suspect. Like it sounds like a friend showed up with a bag of Coke and was like, "Yo, you're doing 5 lines before I leave."
Yeah.
Fuck that podcast.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, wait, let me turn my camera off.
We about to do
The
a birthday
worst
drop.
I'm listening, y'all.
The worst ones. That's where your mind went.
Birthday run. Gotcha.
I picked up some garments to wear.
Oh, is that
Lord
the
have
street
mercy.
slang now? Garments?
Some clothes, some dresses.
Did you have anything to add to the subject matter, Kelly?
Nope.
I want to hear Janessa clap back at what I said.
About what, Terry? You said a lot.
I said a whole bunch of stuff.
That's what she's saying.
Let's say about what, Terry? Because you said a lot.
Well, the kids thing mainly is what I wanted to hear your opinion on. You know, I feel like giving kids a multitude of options actually can make their faith stronger as opposed to weaken it. Because when we're talking about cults and things like that, that's the main thing cults do is they try to, you know, dissuade everything else in the world. It's like, no, don't challenge us, because they know it's bullshit. But if you don't think it's bullshit, then you should invite challenge, you know.
So I don't know, my background or upbringing might be a little bit different, but I was raised in a very, 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 very diverse education, like from pre-K to 12th grade. And I was blessed to go to schools that like embraced other cultures and religions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, for
you've mentioned this before.
Like you know, when the Jewish, they had the latkes and the applesauce, and you know, we did the whole Hanukkah, everything like that. You know, we've done just different stuff. And it to me, because I know what my dad is a pastor. For me, it was just interesting to see other people's what they believe and how they came to be. It wasn't necessarily going to sway what I believe. Mm-hmm. But I also lived at the church every day, all day as a child. So my friends, like my actual friends, were in the church. I didn't necessarily, I don't know. I spent more time with people at the church than people at my school. But I welcomed it, Terry. I welcomed the conversation. I welcomed the education.
And look, it's made you a better person for it.
Like,
and it didn't seem to challenge your faith at all.
No, it didn't.
But let me ask you this, Terry.
A lot of people have that fear, like if I let my kids learn about other things, you know, it was like the same fear they had back in the 90s of, you know, homosexuality. Like, oh, don't let a gay man through here. He's going to turn my son gay. And it's like, now it's like, oh, don't let a Muslim in here. He's going to turn my daughter Muslim, you know?
So, Terry, let me ask you this. If when it comes down to just say a parent, do you think it's wrong if they teach their child more or less like, hey, we're Christians, this is what we believe, but don't just say, you know, criticize anybody else or other religions because there are people who believe other things? Is that just as wrong as not giving them the option at all to you? Like without the whereabouts.
I think that's actually worse. I think to criticize other religions.
No. I said no. I said they're teaching them that we are Christians and this is what we believe, Jesus, whatever. But don't criticize other religions. Like there's other people who are going to believe other things.
Right.
You don't have to criticize them. But I'm telling you, as your parent, this is what we gonna believe, though. I'm not giving you the option to believe everything out there. I'm just saying, don't criticize either.
That's still more detrimental to say, like, no, this is what they believe, but we're doing this. Now you're creating like a taboo. You know what I mean? Which is only going to push them. It's like when a parent says to a daughter, like, I don't want you seeing that boy. It just makes her want the boy more. You know what I mean? So I think to just disparage things like that wouldn't be a good idea. I think I would just explain it to a kid like, you know, I'd ask him like something like, what's your favorite color? Blue. Well, okay. you know how you like blue and you don't like red as much? Well, some people like blue a lot, or some people like red a lot and they don't like blue as much. And that's kind of the same way with religion. It's like they're going to believe this and we're going to believe that. And there's nothing wrong with sharing the space, you know. We don't have to look at them funny the same way we wouldn't want them looking at us funny.
Terry, what do you? I'm so okay.
Okay. Well, maybe I heard the question wrong.
No, that's what I'm. Nobody's criticizing anybody. The point the parent is not saying that they're wrong for believing anything. They're just teaching their child that, listen, we are Christians. You're gonna meet Muslims, you're gonna meet other people that's gonna say other things.
Right.
And you don't have to get into a back and forth with them. You don't have to argue with them or whatever. If they want to say that they don't believe in what we believe in, that's fine. But this is what we believe in because I'm a Christian, so I'm going to teach my kids to then be Christians. What I'm saying is if a parent does that, that's not the same as them saying, hey, these are all of the options that you have as a religion. I'll let you find whichever one you decide on your own. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is,
I mean, it depends on the age, I guess, because as they get older and they hit their teen years, they're going to be a lot more inquisitive, especially these days. So I feel like it's a good thing to embrace that curiosity and let them embrace their curiosity.
Kelly, what do you think?
I agree with you, Rudy. I mean, I like that approach in that hey, this is what we believe. I'll expose you to other things, or I'll let you know that there are other things out there. I guess I'll decide how much, how much we give them on other religions. I'll say for me and my family, that's kind of I didn't have a space or opportunity where I took a deep dive into other religions. I didn't. I said for the most part it was Christianity. We're non-denominational and kind of that's what it was. Did I know that there were other religions? Yes. Did you learn about, some of it through school, sure. But on a personal level, in my home, was I exposed to other religions? No, it was. This is, it wasn't. I mean, to me, it wasn't. I mean, maybe discreetly forced, but it wasn't like aggressively forced, But this is just what we do as a family, And as a family, you just kind of, as a child, me as a child, I fell in line with the family, And this is what and so that's just what it was.
Especially as a preacher's kid.
Right. You just, and I'm just one to kind of go with, the flow anyway. And so, yeah, like I said, and so I don't remember having any conversations with my dad or with my parents about, not really. Like I said, I have a couple of family members that are Jehovah's Witness, and so we may have talked about that a little bit, but nothing like I'm definitely on in me and my house, we will serve the Lord. What, at 18, 19, 20, 21, when you get out of my house, I may not agree or understand, but but I know that you do that. But in terms of me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord. But I definitely don't think it's an issue. Definitely don't shelter them and shield them like this is the only thing out there and there's nothing else. No one, everyone should believe.
You know what's funny about this conversation? The Simpsons tackled this 25 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they did a whole episode because, the Simpsons, they go to church, they're like Presbyterian or whatever. And Lisa's like, no, I'm a Buddhist now. And they pretty much said at the end of the day, they said, look, I believe the end of the episode was, just because I want to be a different religion doesn't mean I can't respect my family and the things that they do. And then the mom said, so wait a minute, you're just going to pay lip service to our church? And she goes, yep. And she goes, that's all I'll ever ask. And that's it. And that's how the episode ends.
And
when they're young, they're going to do what you do anyway,
The Bible also says, what's the Bible say about what is it when they're young? Teach them when they're young, and they'll never depart from it. Or
Y'all
Right.
y'all are some preachers kids who do not know scripture. Bro. Y'all what do it say? But in the beginning, God was the word, and
train up a child in
man,
the
he
way
was
they should
there
go,
it is.
and when
Straight up
they
a child. There it
are
is.
older,
when
they
they
will not depart.
Lord have
I
mercy.
didn't
Well,
have
you
to
know,
look
I
it up,
noticed.
Kelly.
Well, and by the way, Rudy, I had a thought when you were asking that question. You're basically saying like, you know, other people do other things, but in this house we're Christian, right?
Mhm.
All right. Well, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Look, in this house we're all straight. All right. So you're going to be straight too. See the difference?
What's the follow up? I don't get the.
What do you mean? You don't get that? How that relates? That's the same thing. People are going to be who they're going to be. All you can do is lead them the best you can. Set a good example. But
That's you love to compare apples to oranges, Terry. But it's though they both are fruits, they're not the same fruit. You know what I'm saying? So it's
well,
I get what you're trying to do with it, but it's not
when I made the comparison
the
to
same.
homosexuality, maybe don't use the word fruit.
But I'm saying it's not quite the same because like it's a well, first of all, that was a low hanging fruit joke. Okay?
I know,
but it's not the same because like a person just say being gay. I don't know what that process looks like, but that's not like a group out here saying like, yo, we're gay people. This is what we believe. This is how we operate. You know what I'm saying? This is what gets us to heaven. That's something different. Like, but a Christian parent, I'll speak just from that because that was more or less my experience growing up. My household definitely was a Christian household. Like I was never introduced to another religion in the sense of, hey, you have, you can believe this too. Now I definitely knew they were out there. My dad is even one who, he's a researcher, so he used to watch like Minister Farrakhan and stuff like that, just because he listens to people. Like he listens to people talk. So it's not that I was ever unaware. It was not. I had friends that were in other religions or atheists or whatever. It was never. I couldn't associate. I never was sat down and was told like, those other people are the devil. It was never that conversation. But I definitely got the heavy dosage of, this is God. This is Jesus. This is what I'm going to train you up as a child, and you're not going to depart from as a grown ass adult. You feel what I'm saying? So that's it's a real thing, is what I'm saying. It's a real thing, and I don't know if that's the same as somebody then saying, they may say like, hey, you can't be gay because of just say Christian morals or values or whatever, but I don't think that's the same as like, fuck religion, all that stuff. Just, hey, we straight in his house. So
I mean, that's a good question. Is if you do run a very Christian household and you end up having a homosexual child, how do you get them to like a religion that tells them that they're bad?
It's gay people get kicked out of Christian households all the time, or who leave.
I know, and that's not right.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, but that's already a reality. Like it doesn't. A lot of times, like especially like a older black person, you know what I'm saying, like who gonna kind of be stuck in their ways, stuck into just say like an older way of thinking, like they not gonna want to hear that shit. And then the younger millennial, they gonna be like, well, I ain't finna stop doing what I'm doing. So usually they just go their separate ways, honestly. And I don't know if that necessarily detours that person from God, but it definitely a lot of times leaves some type of
hurt.
Right, it leaves some type of bitter taste for sure. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, it doesn't seem very Christ-like.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it does. It definitely does.
Go ahead,
Kelly. No, I was gonna. Never mind. No, nothing.
What?
It made no sense. Nothing.
Okay.
Well, Kelly, you know what show talked about this same subject 25 years after The Simpsons?
What? The Worst Ones podcast.
There you go.
Hey.
Nice segue.
On Instagram, you can find us at The Worst Ones PK. I'm gonna do some updating to the page.
Okay, let's move on. Next. All right.
But if you want to listen to us, you can find us wherever you find your podcast. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, type in the Worst Ones podcast. If you want to see us and listen to us, the Worst Ones podcast on YouTube. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share on all platforms, on all things. We love to hear from you. As always, we thank the 500 million followers. Come see us.
Hey.
And my personal page, which is private, it's Princess Kells 51. Maybe I'll open it up this weekend just for a little birthday fun.
Little birthday love.
This is going to come out after my birthday, so
it's true. I don't
You gotta leave it open.
she'll all miss it.
Gotta leave it open.
Gotta leave it open.
Yeah, maybe. I'm turning. Somebody said, "You gonna turn up for your birthday?" I said, "I'm gonna turn medium."
Gotcha.
I'm old. Yeah, come follow me.
Gotcha. Liddy. All right.
Yes, you can find me at Melanated Brews, revamping some things for fall. I actually went to this spot today. I'm still obsessed with the vanilla honey oat latte. So divine. But anyway.
At Dunkin' Donuts?
No, this is what it's called, Waller's.
I was about to say, if you still talking about Dunkin', you fired from Melanated Brews.
Right.
It's like somebody who really loves craft beer and they go, my favorite's Bud Light, though.
Yeah, no. I didn't have Dunkin' today.
Okay.
I did have it yesterday.
Yeah,
I love hamburgers. That's why I'm always at McDonald's.
But no, I'm going to come out with starting in October. It will be new content. I'm really excited about it.
Gotcha.
And then you can find my personal page at JRihanna _. And yeah.
Real Rihanna. That's her real name.
That is my real name.
Hey.
Speaking of melanated brews, did you ever make a cappuccino with that coffee I sent you? How was that?
Divine.
Yeah, you take your Dunkin' and go home with it.
Ooh, maybe I can do like a honey vanilla oat latte with that.
Look at this. I'm
Terry,
your serendipity. I'm giving you ideas left and right.
You might be onto something.
Yep. Terry Wynn Comedy, all social media platforms. The Wizard of Oz tour starts in October. We will be all through the state of Florida and maybe Atlanta if we can get booked.
Woo woo. Woo woo. We'll be there.
Yeah, you guys can meet my other black friends.
Like, I have black friends. I'm not racist. I have black friends.
No, I have black friends, and that's why I'm racist. So
makes sense.
Right. Terry. Oh, Terry.
Oh, me.
All right. And at the podcast official page, you know what it is. And if you don't, you can find out at the podcast official page. Boom. And lastly, I just added this in. Last little plug. Any interested sponsors?
Finally.
Any interested sponsors who want to sponsor us for real? You know what I'm saying? Any small business owners who want to,
Stamps.com, they sponsor everybody.
Who want to pay us, you know what I'm saying? About $100 a week each.
Any churches?
Any churches
sponsors get their membership up. We got 500 million viewers.
Or if you already got a big membership, Brian. Brian got 2 churches, 3 churches, And yeah.
Well, this is what we've needed the whole time. This is our offering plate. We're passing it around.
Right. We're finally taking up a collection.
We never took a collection. I got a building fund over here.
Oh God!
I'm in a white room all the time.
Finally.
Y'all on another one today. Y'all started real quiet and got real live.
Whenever the hat goes on. That's
And one final thing, shout out to Bishop Morton. Y'all pray for their family. We actually lost a PK out here in these streets. His oldest son was killed recently, so yeah, they dealing with that. Bishop Morton was our pastor growing up. Me and Janessa.
Yes.
Janessa's dad was his right hand man.
well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Morton family. You guys are in our thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
And for the rest of you troopers out there who continue to follow us and watch us, we appreciate you. Share this with somebody, and we'll appreciate you even more. Until next time, we
Rest
out.
in peace, Jimmy.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.